Hi everyone.
Hello.
Thanks for tuning in. And first of all, we just want to really thank you for all the people who watched us in our vows. We had so many people contact us. It just really was shocking. We have quite a few people that watch this particular live feed, but we had 5 times that many people view our vows. And we really hope that that really touched you, because it really touched us.
It was amazing. We had a great day on Sunday, and we just thank all who were there, and then those that watched later. Those that missed it, we missed you totally. You all are so, you know who you are. All of our dear friends are so important to us, and have made our life sweeter a lot through the years. Absolutely. But yeah, keep sharing our videos and our lives, and we're here just to be a light to those that are struggling in their marriage, to know that there's hope.
And with their kids, and with anything else you might be struggling with, because God can help you in whatever troubles you're having. And so I want to tell you a quick story, and then we're going to kind of talk about what our subject is. And this story is exactly what it's about. So when I was about 10 years old, it was Christmas Day, and I just got a new skateboard. And my little half brother, we were over at my dad's house. It was his house. And he was riding with me, and I was following him and holding onto the back of his bike. And he intentionally took me off this curve, which made me fall, and I got hurt, and I was really upset. And I went running into the house crying to my dad, and he was sitting in the house with a bunch of his friends around the dining room table, and he just looked at me and got really angry and yelled at me and said, "What are you doing? We're here having our dinner now. You get out of the house," and wouldn't even listen to me. And I was really upset. So what I did at that moment is, I lived 4 miles away from where my dad lives. I picked up my skateboard and I walked all the way home on Christmas Day. But the thing was that on that day, I made a lot of decisions that I've lived my entire life out of from that day on. And that decision was, I don't want anybody in my life. I don't need anybody in my life. I don't need any help from anybody, and I especially don't need my dad or anybody else to watch over me and take care of me. I can do it by myself. Since that day, I've actually been living that way every day. I have a lot of people that are friends, and I have a couple of really close friends, but I don't hang with them. I don't, it's not something I do, and it's on me that I don't, and I miss a lot of my friends because of that. And for those of you who are watching, who are my friends, understand, it's not you, it's me. It's who I am. But I love you guys. You're always my friends, and it'll always be that way. And what the subject is tonight, it's about the tongue. It's about how we speak to each other, the words that we say to each other. And some of the things that we say to each other, it's just not so nice. One of the things that we say is, when Kimberly and I talk, we found out early in our relationship that we got to press each other's buttons really good. And
we fought a lot.
We fought a lot. And to think about when someone has said a harsh word to you, or you said a harsh word to somebody, and how that harsh word on you hurt you and made you upset. And in our relationship from the beginning, we pushed each other's buttons and we fought, and we did not think first and talk later. The rule of, hey, we need to speak quick and listen.
Be slow to speak.
No, but I was saying it the opposite way.
Slow to speak.
Slow to speak and quick to listen. That's what God wants us to do. And you know what?
We don't do.
We don't. Well, we do now, but it took years to overcome all those influences that caused us to just pick on each other.
And we still don't. I mean, we still have issues with that. But I think most of the time, we don't do that as humans, is what I'm saying. And a lot of times when somebody's talking to you, your head's moving of what you're going to say to them. Like,
right.
Before you're even like listening to them, you're not even listening. You're thinking about what you're going to say.
Yeah, they touched on a subject. Yeah, they said something that spiked something in you from a memory that you want to comment on it, and you're so busy thinking about what you want to say next that you can't hear a word they say. And you go, yeah, and then it's the second they give you a break, and they're probably not even done with what they're saying. Well, we have a tendency to do that because we speak over each other, but you have to get your words out, and that's really the opposite of what God wants us to do. He really wants us to listen first and then speak. Oftentimes when Kimberly and I are talking, I'll be in the middle of saying something and she thinks she knows where I'm going, and I do it with her too.
We do it, yeah.
Yeah, so I'll be talking, and I'll be in the middle of a sentence, and she thinks I know where I'm going with my thought. And then she starts talking, and I'm going, whoa, stop. And she goes, no, and I know where you're going, and so I stop, and I let her finish what she has to say. And I have to tell her, that is not even close to what I was about to say. And then I have to say what I wanted to say. And it's frustrating, and again, we do it to each other, and I'm sure you probably do it with your family members, for those of you who are A-type personalities. Some of you may not even be that way, where you just listen and you're really good at it. That is not one of our favorite things to do. And we've gotten better at it, but it took a lot of work. It took a lot of work with God. It took a lot of time for us to realize how we hurt each other.
Just our words. I mean, like, literally, I remember, like, how he was talking about with his dad. I remember my dad, when I was younger, said to me just outright, if I would have had to do it over again, I would have never had you kids. So, like, as a child, you're thinking, wow, I'm not wanted. So for a lot of years, that was my mindset, my mentality. And again, my insecurity of I'm not good enough, I'm not wanted. And a lot of us go through that in our childhood. And so many people that we see, like just even documentaries or movies or things that we watch, their parents hurt them deeply, and they're dealing with that today. And there's a saying that we get over our childhood as we get older. We're trying to get over our childhood. And a lot of it is because of the way they were raised, too. They don't know any better. Mm-hmm. So that's why it's so important to have God in your life and Jesus to know how to love. And it's so important to know what to say and to have positive thoughts and positive things coming out of your mouth. And your heart has to be in the right frame of mind, frame of heart. You have to have the right frame of heart, because what comes from the heart is what's spoken. So we shouldn't, we should be careful with what we say. And I know I've said things to my kids that, oh my gosh, but I go up to them and I apologize to them.
Now you do.
Yeah, now I do. I mean, there was
both
years
of us
that we
didn't.
didn't.
Right.
But, our kids know now, like, I apologize. Like the other night we had a huge fight. Obviously, it was probably because we were being attacked because we were getting ready to do our video. But
by the way, things really go south for us just before these videos.
I know, sometimes they
it's
do.
pretty amazing.
But like literally, I had to leave the house because I was so upset, and it was about selfishness. And God, as I was driving around the neighborhood, God brought it to me that we're the ones responsible for the way these children act,
right? And
that it's our fault that they're selfish. And I'm like, wow.
That's what they saw in us for years. And,
right.
And God, and they see those changes in us, and they watch us, and they now know that we're different than that now. But see, it's still in them now. So we gave them our curse.
Right.
Our curse of being obnoxious, selfish, not letting each other talking over each other.
Right. Arrogance, all that.
Oh, we're both really smart people.
Yeah, all that stuff. So we're slowly but surely, we have way more peace in our home. Because we're slowly, like, just Jesus is taking over, and we're, and I just walked back in the house and I just said, I'm sorry, kids, it's my fault. It's mine and Dad's fault. And It's because we raised you this way, and you're selfish, and that's on us. It's not on you. And I think it just takes time to be just calm with them and calm with your spouse.
When you've always grown up differently than that, and you've always acted differently than that, it takes time. So for those of you who watch these videos and say, wow, we do that and we shouldn't do that, it's not going to happen overnight.
No.
It took us a very long time to overcome this, because there's so many buttons pushed inside of us that we just go, it's tit for tat, quickly, without thought, without listening. It comes up so quickly that we just react and we react and we react, and all of a sudden we're in a knockdown, drag out fight.
For nothing.
Not literally physically, but just on each other and in each other's faces, and just blowing it totally in a relationship. Right.
Yeah.
And it could be something as stupid of, how do you fold the towel? Something that stupid,
Or the toilet paper.
Yeah, how does the toilet paper supposed to smell? It's supposed to be
Actually, he does
the
a really good job now. He kind of knows what I like.
Yeah,
his underwear aren't laying right next to the hamper anymore.
Yeah, I actually learned how to hit
the hamper.
I was watching basketball lately. I kind of got that one down now.
I think as ladies and as moms and wives, we get a little irritated because sometimes we feel like we're the ones that are the slave. Like, we're like, okay, what am I, like am I like your slave or your housekeeper? We're all working here, and we need to work together to be a family and do things. Yeah.
Right. And And a lot of what we want to talk about here in this tongue thing and how you speak. So you are all each individually very powerful in your small sphere of influence of your world. Your wife, your husband, your kids, your mom and dad, your family, anybody that you're close to, especially when you speak, it means everything to them, especially your kids. When you speak down to them or you get mad at them and you speak harshly, and they may very well have deserved something to be said or trying to teach them something important that they're not responding well. But at the same time, how are you doing that? Kimberly and I didn't handle it well for years, and now it's in our kids. And we look at that and go, this can't go on. It has to change. And we've prayed about it and we've given it to God, and it's changed us so much. And when it comes to the tongue, though, it's something that when you read the book of James in chapter 3, verses 1 through 14, if you want to see what I'm talking about, he uses different descriptions that are really great. Like one of them is a ship going across the sea. It's a huge ship. And what turns that ship is a very tiny rudder. And when you don't guide your tongue, that rudder, your tongue, can cause amazing damage, and not even intentionally. You have to really be careful when you speak. And it can cause fires, like when we fight. You know, a small fire could burn a forest.
Spark, yeah.
Kimberly, I can say something to her, and she gets it wrong, or I didn't say it quite right, and it's not even intentional. But because of our buttons, you know, that I pushed her button, didn't even know it. She looks at me like I just killed her, and she's angry, and she wants to just kill me, and I can see it in her face. I'm going, wow, and I don't even care. I don't look at her and say, wow, what did I say? I look at her and I'm going, what? You know?
Well, or he'll just say something to start the fire even more.
Well, not
and
thinking.
Sometimes we just got to stop and not do that, right?
Because that little spark becomes a forest fire really quickly, and we've just seen changes in us and changes in that because of how we speak and how we speak to our friends and how we speak to our kids. It's huge in what we do, and we hope that as we do these videos, we could discover more things about ourselves and about each other. And for you guys, we really would like the opportunity to help anybody. If you would like to anonymously say, when you were going through this stuff, how did you feel about that? When you were doing this, you know, what were you doing? I mean, why were you doing that? And these things that helped us get through all these troubles that God helped us through, you know, because I sought God really, really, really tightly when Kimberly was going through what she was going through. And she still had God in the background, just, you know, tickling her and stuff. But at the same time, she was walking and she didn't want to. And it was a battle. And those things that we do, speaking and how I spoke to her then, I still didn't know how to speak to her. And I certainly didn't help sometimes, you know, with our circumstances because I didn't have it down. And we just hope that, you know, many of you will take these little tidbits and, you know, like the book of James in that chapter 3, read those verses because they talk really clearly about how that tongue can change the world around you. And you don't even know it. A whole relationship can be destroyed by one sentence that you said, not even intentionally.
Right.
You know, or in a moment of anger.
It says, in this devotional that we were reading, it says it's impossible to tame the tongue. No human can do it, but God can. And that's so true. You can literally ask God to help you because I had to, literally. I mean, and I kind of tell my friends the same thing, change your perspective. Everything in my world was so negative. I was raised with a very negative outlook and everything. And I literally had to take those thoughts captive and change it and start changing everything around me, putting pictures in front of me that made me happy and gave me a positive
and
outlook.
Bible verses. She has Bible verses all over the house that she reads to help her.
Yeah, just to help me to be more positive. And, you know, giving your life to the Lord, I had to do it every day. It was so very hard to just say, not my way, Lord, your way. And I had to just surrender it all. But having those Bible verses, you know, and all those things around me helped me change my perspective about life, right? So then now I think better thoughts, which now comes out of my heart, better speaking.
Right.
And speaking about myself, too. I mean, I'm always very critical of myself.
And when you speak to others kindly and lovingly, but you're not willing to speak to yourself kindly and lovingly, you have to remember, those words that you speak don't just affect everybody around you, but yourself. How do you talk to yourself? What are the words inside yourself?
Right.
By reading the Bible and getting those in Bible verses that you memorize, that when you have a negative thought or you have something going wrong in your life, you can go to those verses and repeat them in your mind and your heart and get God in and help him straighten those things out.
And take those thoughts captive.
That's how we got through everything. That's how I got through everything I was going through. When she was going through, as I'm praying for her, all his promises to help me accept and deal with what was, instead of not accepting it.
And you really need to be around a good Christian body of friends, because seriously, whoever you're hanging out with is kind of who you become, and misery loves company, and if you have negativity around you, that's what you're going to exude.
And we don't want to understand it just as negativity, because it's not a thing. It's not just negativity, it's just who are the people around you and how do they think,
and what are they doing, and what are their actions.
What are their actions,
and,
right?
You know, like a lot when we were very wealthy, a lot of people around us were cheating and all this other stuff. So, you know, it kind of influences, it kind of infiltrates. And so you have to make sure, get in with a good church. We have an amazing church, Oasis Community Church at 56th Street in between Greenway and Thunderbird. I mean, the most loving people we've ever met. And, you know, they accept you for who you are. And just like Jesus accepts you right where you're at. And he doesn't keep you there. He doesn't leave you there. You change slowly. And like I always say, baby steps. So
take one moment, change that moment. The next 20 moments might be really bad, but you took one moment. And the next time you're taking 2 moments and then 3 moments. And it just changes that way, a little at a time. You just let God in and he strengthens that and changes everything.
Right.
So I hope this helps. We hope that we'd like to hear from some of you about some of the things we've talked about in our past. And you might, go, how did you do that? We'd really love to hear from you.
Yeah, just send us a message via Facebook, private. It's anonymous. We would never share. I mean, if you're feeling embarrassed that we would know, then maybe we could come up with another platform where you can anonymously put in requests. But again, this is all very private, and we don't ever share anything unless you want to, and state it on our feed, and then we'll answer questions next time. But share, like. We love you guys. Have a blessed week.
And thanks
happy
again
Father's
for
Day.
Watching our vows, and happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day to everybody, and we'll see you soon. We'll see you next week. Bye.